everyone. I am so excited. This is the first video of the year 2022, and I am really excited on what this year has to bring. If you have not been to our channel before or been to our videos, welcome. Make sure that you like and also subscribe to our channel. And for those of you who are returning, hello, and thank you so much for continuing to support Guiding Path Enrichment Center. Okay, so with this video, I know that you saw the title. I have talked to many of my fellow educators and have given them advice, received advice on challenging behaviors. These are just some tips that I've used in the classroom for myself, and as well as some of the things that I researched. I'll tell you a little bit later on one book that really changed relationships in the classroom, and also, or not just relationships, but behaviors in the classroom. And also, if you have any good techniques or tips that you have utilized in the classroom to help challenging behaviors, be sure to post it in the comments below. I would love to read and actually use this in the classroom and tell my fellow educators as well. For those of you who are returning back to the classroom either today or tomorrow, remember that your prayers or our prayers are with you guys and having grace to continue out this very different school year. All right, so let's go ahead and get started so I can help you on getting a nip on those challenging behaviors. Okay, so the first thing to address any challenging behaviors in the classroom, whether it's one student, whether it's two students, whether it is majority of the class, hopefully it's not the whole class, but if it is, this is one thing that I really pretty much honed in on my first year of teaching, even prior to my first year of teaching. I've learned about it with classroom management. I studied on it because I wanted to have a goal and complete the goal of having a great classroom to where I do not have to be in the classroom for it to run very smoothly. So the first thing that I really honed in on was building relationships. Yes, building relationships. Whether it's building relationships with your faculty and staff, that does help with behaviors, believe it or not. Also building relationships with the students, of course, and building relationships with their parents and their guardians. Having relationships really does help the behaviors in your classroom, okay? Having that relationship. So that is the first and foremost thing to do, is build relationships. When you're building relationships, you want to gain an understanding of your students, okay? So for instance, the thing that I really honed in on the first year of teaching, before I actually knew that it was a thing, it was a technique, I did something called like a friendship circle type thing. It was I did it once a week. Every Wednesday, my kiddos would sit in a circle. We were first grade, so they would sit in a circle, and we would kind of discuss, either a different topic, like a question topic, just of maybe what their plans were for the weekend, or what is something that makes you a good friend, things like that. I build the classroom culture, okay, with that. Then the second year of me teaching, I found out it was actually a thing. It was called morning meeting. So I do recommend starting the year out. I know we're like at the middle of the school year, but either starting the year out, or you can actually do this in the middle of the year as well, of having a morning meeting, okay? It doesn't have to be anything formal. It doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be drawn out. Morning meetings have a lot of sections, or a lot of different categories to them. They have like a lot of parts, like the message, and then the circle time, and the share time, and then an activity. There's different ones, but I really would hone in on the share time and actually talking with the students and having them respect each other, listen to each other, and really pay attention to what they like, what they do not like, what bothers them, what is really important to them. Morning meetings are very, very important, and I do advise that you do them. Even if you have a high school classroom or a middle school classroom and you have, let's just say you teach math, do it at least 5-10 minutes in front of your lesson, okay? And I will talk and explain to you a little bit more about the social emotional lessons, but have it before you actually start your lesson. It can be something of them writing down a question and then answering it and putting it in a bucket. Or it could be something to where they share with their neighbor. It doesn't have to, again, be drawn out or anything like that, but it is really important, and it gives you an understanding of your students, and it builds relationships, because once they see that you are understanding them, you're building that connection with them, they will respect you more, and believe it or not, the behaviors will actually go down. All right, so the next thing is earn respect and give respect. I know it's very, very difficult to earn and also give respect for those challenging behaviors that do not give respect either, right? The ones that do not respect your space. They do not respect you teaching by talking or being disrespectful, basically. They do not give respect for as just your position in the classroom, being the teacher. I know. But giving respect when it is due is really, really important, but also even when it's not due, okay? Sometimes we have to overlook those different behaviors and still give respect when it is due and when it is appropriate, okay? So respecting if a student is having a moment, right? Respect their space. Respect what they are saying. Respect their time, okay? Still give that respect. Even say it, I respect you that you're having your moment, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and step away for a few minutes, okay? And when you want to come to me and have a normal tone, or when you are ready, then we can talk. Have it calm, plain, and simple. That's giving them the respect. And then also you are earning respect when you take that negative space away. Okay, so the next one, and I think is one of the most important. I mean, all of these tips are important, but after building relationship with your students and in the classroom, I feel that building relationship with parents is equally important, okay? And building relationships, meaning having that communication with your parents. I have heard over and over and over and over again, and this is one of my goals, because I've heard it so much in a negative light, that many parents say, oh, well, I haven't communicated with the teacher, or the teacher will not respond to my messages, or the teacher, I have heard it so many times. And it's a lot when you are a teacher as well, and as actually a parent. So I was able to actually be in both shoes, as a parent and also as a teacher. As a teacher, I want to make sure that my parents, and I was basically talking to myself, but my parents were able to receive all the information from me as much as possible within a certain time limit. Okay, so as soon as I receive something, a lot of times I will go ahead and tell the teachers. They only communicate when it's something negative, when my child is doing this or my child is doing that. But a lot of times you want to change that narrative. Have them have some way of communication where it's positive, whether it's some type of positive remarks on, maybe Sally did something really, really good for us on the recess, like she was a good friend today, or Johnny was able to sit in his seat for 15 minutes, which is one of our goals for him. Something like that. Do more positives than negatives, okay? Because we know as parents are working all the time. They hear negative things a lot. Sometimes, or a lot of times, they know that their child are handfuls. They have behavior issues, or their child acts out when they're at school because they have heard it from not just you as a teacher, but they've heard it from other teachers. But having a phone call or a text message, depending on how you communicate with your parents, even having a note or a letter home saying, hey, little Johnny was really good today. He was able to be pleasant, or just something that is a goal for you for that student. He accomplished his goal today, or he was almost there at his goal today, and we're continuing to work. But parents want to hear more positives than negatives. And once they hear more positives than negatives, then the behaviors at home will be a little bit more lighter too, because a lot of times when you have negative, let's just say you're always calling mom because little Johnny is blurting out all the time. He's talking too much. Through your lessons, he's throwing things. He's doing different things. Let's just say that is happening, right? If you call mom about it all the time, then it becomes where little Johnny is either getting spankings at home, he's getting yelled at home, sometimes he's being ignored. Some things, little Johnny is really acting out because he's not getting attention at home, right? Let's just say this might be happening, okay? If that is the case, you want to change the narrative, because if little Johnny is not getting attention at home, or he is getting abuse, or I'm not going to say abuse, but if he is getting spankings or getting some type of punishment at home, then when he gets back into your classroom, think about all of the negative thoughts that are in his head. My teacher doesn't love me. My teacher's going to get me in trouble. I'm going to get a whooping anyway. Or I'm going to continue to do this behavior because I don't like my teacher because she gets me in trouble. That's in little Johnny's head, okay? So to change the narrative, let's just say you give a goal to little Johnny. Little Johnny keeps talking while you're doing your lesson, right? You're teaching your lesson, okay? You time him and you tell him you have a student conference, and you say, okay, little Johnny, this is what we're going to do. If you can, let's just say 5 minutes, right? If you can stay quiet for 5 minutes and pay attention or do your work, sometimes you might have to have different situations or different things. Maybe little Johnny is bored and he understands the material already. Give him an activity while you're teaching with the other students. Give him an activity so he can do to focus on that particular either assignment or something that he can actually do. There's a lot of different things, and comment below if you would like to hear them of what you can do for other behaviors, specific behaviors. Once you're able to have that particular goal with little Johnny and he agrees to it, even if he doesn't agree to it, just time him, okay? And have him have some type of reward, maybe incentive of having tablet time or having extra recess, having that relationship with another teacher, your fellow teacher. Little Johnny's coming over because he has Play-Doh time because he beat his goal. Something simple, right? Once you have that and he has beat his goal, then immediately talk to his parent, okay? And say, hey, we have outlined this goal for little Johnny. Or you don't even have to say what goal it is. You can just say, little Johnny was great today. He did not, he limit his time of talking out. something positive. Then that in turn goes home, or is already home. When little Johnny comes home, he might not have that punishment. He might have, oh, I'm so proud of you. You did great. Your teacher talked to me today. She said that you limit. So watch little Johnny's behavior change over time, because now he's either getting attention, positive attention that he wants. It is helping him in class as well for you, but his behavior is changing because you're earning his respect, you're giving him respect, and you are also giving him a positive outlook and giving him some type of motivation to change the unwanted behavior. So focusing on the positive behavior and communicating that with parents does go a long way. I mentioned with that example of little Johnny, I mentioned the having a conference, a student conference. When you have certain challenging behaviors, it is okay to have a one-on-one conference, okay? Whether it's before class, before you actually start class, whether it's after class and just write a note to the next teacher, especially if this is middle school or high school. If this is during, I wouldn't say during lunchtime or during recess or anything like that, because this is their free time. But sometimes you may have to take some time away just so you can have a conference, a student conference. And a student conference does not have to be long and drawn out. It does not have to have papers of what is your goals in life, and what is your goals in class. It does not have to be that detailed or that professional, okay? A one-on-one conference can be just of, hey, how was your day today? How are you feeling? Some type of, I know us teachers and us educators are therapists as well, unlicensed therapists, but it does help where you can have a one-on-one time to say, okay, I don't like this behavior. Why do you think you do this? Or do you like getting in trouble? Things of that nature kind of does help and open up. Maybe even having it to where, again, you're only asking about their day. You're asking about different things. What is your goal for today? Do you have something that you want to do that is new? Let's see, my goal is this. Like, have some type of one-on-one conversation with them, okay? So that way they are receiving some type of attention. Also, it's giving you and building a relationship with them. Again, earning and giving respect as well. And it is providing them a way to have a conversation and talking, okay? Without having other friends, distractions, or anything like that. They are actually being seen at that moment by their teacher, who is basically like another parent, okay? So having that one-on-one is really, really, truly important. The next thing is ignore behaviors. I know. Ignore some of the behaviors that are happening. If you have a student that is, let's just say, talking out, and it gets to a point where they're talking out and it's not really distracting other students or other students learning. Maybe they're talking out because they're trying to figure out a problem or something like that, and it's just best for them to talk it out to themselves. Ignore it. Yeah, I know. Ignore the behavior, because then that way you're not bringing attention to it. They are still working and stuff. You may come next to them and just say, whisper to yourself, or I think it's best for you to do your work outside so that way that you can really focus. I don't want to distract you from the hard work that you're doing. Things like that, or maybe having a way, if you have a teacher aide or a teacher assistant, you're able to have them in another classroom that is empty that they can go into to focus a little bit. Sometimes ignoring some behaviors will help diminish them, okay? Because sometimes you might have some students that act out because they want the attention. If you're giving them the attention, they're going to continue with the action. So you may want to ignore it if it becomes a problem. And then eventually, like, you know what? This is too much. I am not getting the attention that I want, so I am not going to do that behavior. I'm going to try something else to see if I can get that attention. But again, if you're using positive and accentuating those positive behaviors more so than negative, that's exactly what you're going to get. Okay, so the next thing is to have fun with your kids. The more you are relatable to your students, the more they, again, will respect you, give you respect. You will earn that respect. They will also feel more related to you. They'll communicate with you more. They would not want to disappoint you. Again, teachers are like a second parent. So they do want to make their teachers proud. They want to have a smile on their teachers' faces, right? So have fun with your students. I know this is crazy to even say, but I do say this to my students who are student teachers, as well as my fellow educators, as to just let them know it's okay to sometimes not teach. I know. It's okay to sometimes not have that lesson plan that you have already ready, those worksheets, that activity. Oh my goodness, it's so ready. It's okay not to do it sometimes. I know. I am so going to get in trouble for this, right? But no, seriously. You cannot teach in a class where it is total chaos, where all of the children's emotions, they are not able to share their emotions. They're not able to even show that they are social with each other. They cannot have those skills. It is okay to not teach at some point. 30 minutes is not going to hurt. 30 minutes of non-instructional time will not hurt. And actually, it's still instruction because you are helping your class to build a connection together, to build relationships together, and bring that culture and have a family inside the classroom, okay? So sometimes I know within the school that I was teaching in, I had liberty to do so. And sometimes you can, even if you have one of those administrators that are like, no, it has to be instruction all the time, put it in a lesson plan, okay? if it's that much. Or you can also, if you're one of those who has research, there is research out there that you can present to your administrators to say, hey, my students need social, emotional skills. This is the lesson that we're going to do. This is activity. They need to have this time outside of reading, math, or whatever. And you can also even build it inside of your lesson, whether it's a reading lesson and you're reading about social, emotional, or something like that, or you're going to do an activity that is based on that. But having 30 minutes out of a learning day is totally fine of not doing instructional time. Having fun with your kids, whether it is doing a craft together that is based off of a book or just doing a freestyle. Let them just be free and paint something that gives them joy or something like that, or build something, playing a game with them. Play Uno with your kids, play Jenga with your kids, bring some board games to them. I would even suggest, and this is for my higher kids, I would even suggest bringing a TV and a PS4 or a PS5, whatever you prefer, or Xbox, doesn't really matter, and having 30-minute time because they beat a particular goal, having some time and playing a game with them, playing Fortnite with them, or playing, I don't know, Super Mario, I don't know, doing Wii or something with them. But having some type of fun does help bring that relationship and actually diminishes their challenging behaviors, because your students will actually look at you as a person, not just as, oh, this is just my teacher. No, they'll look at you as kind of like a friend, but more so as just someone that's fun. You will still have their respect, and they will still love that moment of you just being personal with them, okay? And just showing that you are a human, you are a person, and you like to have fun. All right, and this is the last tip that I'm going to share with you guys. And this one is very, very key, but self-care. I know, what does that have to do with challenging behaviors? We do have those students that is just, oh my goodness, it's just too much. I have to figure out, I know for me personally, I have to figure out day in, day out, how can I get this child to sit down in their seat? How can I get them to stop talking when I'm talking? How can I get them to do their work? How can I get them to not fight and slap little Susie every time or every chance they get? How can I do that? How can I not get cussed out? How can I not, like, it weighs on you, it stresses you out, and it becomes so much that you start to burn out and you start to lose the joy of teaching, okay? So please make sure that you have self-care, all right? When it comes to those stressful moments of you having a fight in your classroom, or when it comes to Henry came home or came to class and he was fussing and cussing at me and everything. Have a self-care moment for each one of those, okay? Whether it's getting a haircut, whether it's getting a manicure, you might do this anyway. Getting a massage, scheduling time to go to the movies, scheduling time, having some type of self-care, whether it is telling your family, hey, I'm disconnecting for an hour or 2 hours. I'm about to take a nap. Leave me alone. Or or going out to eat with friends. But self-care is key when dealing with challenging behaviors. So please make sure that you are taking care of yourself. Remember that these behaviors sometimes and a lot of times do not have anything to do with you personally as a teacher, as an educator, as a human being. A lot of these behaviors are probably from home. They might be genetics. They might just be who this child is, okay? And all you can do is control what you can in the classroom, if you can do it. But do not wait on it, okay? Again, self-care is key. All right? So I hope that these tips really, really do help you. Like I said before, prior to being a teacher, I was able to study and really hone in on my classroom management, and having those behaviors, building relationships was one of the key things that I took from all my studying and making sure that I actually did those every summer. I made sure I built relationships even before my kids actually came to class. So this book by Ron Clark really, really, truly helps me. He has several books that are awesome, but this one in particular are a lot of the tips that I did share in this video. So I would encourage, I'm not getting paid for this or anything, you guys, but I would encourage you to pick up a copy of this book. It is very, 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 very good. All right. And maybe adopt some of the theories and some of the tips that he provided in your classroom, and watch all of the behaviors and how your class just change to a miracle in front of your eyes. All right, so if you like this video, again, be sure to like and also share, and please put in the comments any other tips that you have used that really helped with behaviors. Until next time, Happy New Year, and I will see you all soon.